This is like the third time I've started this video and I've like babbled on and on. So what it keeps on coming down to is me just straight talking about suicide. Like there's no reason to be fluffy about a problem that's probably going to occur. So I'm going to talk really openly about my thought process with suicide. First of all, I believe that isolation is the moldy breeding ground for addiction, alcoholism, self-harm, domestic violence, and suicide. Us being asked to isolate, right? Us being disconnected from the planet is so dangerous that the fallout from this COVID, I can't even imagine. But I know that I have a responsibility and a platform to speak on it, and so I'm going to do that. So let's start with like the one that like gives you no more chances to get better, right? Because I promise whatever you're going through, it can get better. Like I promise. I am a mentally ill alcoholic who has a pretty darn cool, productive life. Like I promise it gets better. It took a lot of work, but it got better. But if you dip out early and you're not on this planet anymore, there's no chances of getting better, right? So we're gonna start with suicide. We'll work our way back to the other things from there. This is how suicide works, right? It's like mold. It starts off and it sounds like, I can't do this anymore. I just wanna die. People who have tried to commit suicide before or talked about suicide know that if you go to the counselor's office and you admit that, you're going to the mental institution. Right? They're obligated to tell. We mentally ill folks know not to tell them, right? So because a suicidal mentally ill person, or even not a mentally ill person, a person that just lost their business because of COVID and can't fathom getting out of it and wants to shoot themselves in the garage, it's not really about the people who are suicidal all the time anymore. Now it's about all of the people, right? Suicidal people have some tricks up their sleeve, right? Hopefully. So it sounds like that. And for me, I call it self-pity when I'm like, God, I can't do this again. I can't. Like I cannot pull myself up by my bootstraps one more time. I'm tired and I'm old and I don't want to flip and do it. I just don't. Right? Starts like that, a little bit of self-pity. And then, fuck, really, am I awake again? We're going to do this again. I don't want to be here. Right? It starts sounding like that. If I continue allowing it to sound like that, it then becomes a plan that sounds like, I have enough pills in the house. I could do this, this, or this. My storyline has never gotten very far because I'm going to tell you what I do. Anytime that I think about it more than 2 or 3 times, right? When it becomes a loop. I have a person on this planet that I love and unconditionally, and I know no matter what I tell him, I'm not going to go into the psych ward, and he's not going to flip out, and he's not dramatic, and he doesn't like match my fear. He just asked me like, did you have a glass of water today? And are you hungry? And then poof, right? The power of the suicidal thoughts are gone. But you got to poof them out right when they're there, right? You got to get them before it becomes a story and a dialogue and then an action. And the way that you do that is you have to tell someone else. And I am so sorry if you don't have that person in your life that you trust will listen to you. DM me. I'll listen to you. And you guys, those of you who have never suffered with a mentally ill person or a suicidal person in your family or any of these kind of things, they're just looking for attention. Wouldn't you rather give them that attention than have them blow their head off? Let's get real. That's an old school boomer kind of bullshit nonsense way of thinking, especially not right now. Right now, if someone tells you that they want to kill themselves, you had better listen. You had better listen, because this is no joke. What we're going through right now is no joke. Like this is some serious shit. So, a few things. One, if you have suicidal thoughts, I hate to admit this, but actually it's kind of normal. Way more normal than you would think, but nobody talks about it, so then nobody knows it's normal, right? It's like this dirty, nasty little secret that wins every time someone kills themselves. So, if you're thinking it, talk about it. You can totally talk to me about it. It's a hard conversation, right? So yeah, there's my advice. Like, let's start talking about it. Let's start talking about those thoughts. Ask one of your kids. Ask your best friend, hey, have you ever thought of killing yourself? I mean, have the thought even drifted through your mind? And you would be amazed how many more people than you think have struggled with suicidal thoughts. So let's start talking about them, and hopefully we can keep some amazing spirits on this earth. I love you guys. I will see you next week.